This transmission begins with the profound sense of fateful synchronicity that draws you here, a whisper from the collective unconscious that the time is ripe to confront inherited burdens. We will excavate forgotten ancestral myths and Jungian shadow work, revealing the hidden archetypal chains that bind families across generations. By decoding these patterns, you will be guided to recognize their manifestation in your own life, thereby beginning the alchemical process of breaking free and reclaiming your authentic soul path. And real quick, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos just like this. Now let's keep going. The air itself seems to hum with a forgotten resonance, a subtle vibration that echoes through our lives before we even become aware of its source. It's in the stories our grandparents told, the silences that hung heavy in the family home, the inexplicable fears that grip us in the dead of night. These are not mere anecdotes or personal anxieties. They are threads woven into the fabric of our very being, remnants of experiences lived and unaddressed by those who came before. We feel them most acutely when life presents its unexpected trials, when old wounds seem to reopen without cause. It's as if a phantom limb aches, a pain that isn't ours, yet it throbs with undeniable familiarity. This echo of the unseen, this inherited resonance, is the first sign that our personal narrative is intertwined with a larger, older story, a tapestry of familial memory stretching back into the mists of time. This unseen echo is a persistent melody, playing on a frequency we often tune out. It hints at a deeper reality, a psychic inheritance that shapes our choices, our desires, and our deepest regrets. But to truly understand its power, we must first acknowledge the presence of a guest who rarely announces themselves. The shadow archetype. There exists within each of us a hidden chamber, a place where the parts of ourselves we deem unacceptable are sequestered. This is the domain of the shadow, a primal force born from our deepest fears and unexplored desires. It is not inherently malevolent, but in its unacknowledged state, it becomes a potent, uninvited guest within the psyche, whispering anxieties and driving behaviors we cannot consciously control. This shadow grows in the dim corners of our being, fed by societal judgments and personal shame. It manifests as the irrational anger, the paralyzing doubt, the impulses that lead us astray. When we refuse to look into its depths, it doesn't disappear. Instead, it finds new ways to assert itself, subtly influencing our relationships and distorting our perception of ourselves and the world. The shadow is the uninvited guest that rearranges the furniture when we're not looking, the silent critic we hear in our own thoughts. It's the part of us we've locked away, hoping it will cease to exist. But its presence is a constant, a psychic weight that can only be lifted by the courageous act of acknowledging its very existence and understanding how it has been passed down. The concept of psychic inheritance moves beyond mere learned behaviors. It speaks to a deeper transmission, a non-genetic blueprint of emotional tendencies, ingrained fears, and even unconscious motivations that seem to predispose us to certain life patterns. It's as if the very soul carries scars from experiences it never personally endured. This ghost in the gene is felt in the inherited anxieties that seem to have no logical origin, the phobias that appear out of nowhere, the familial patterns of addiction or self-sabotage that repeat with a chilling regularity. It suggests an energetic imprint, a kind of soul memory that bypasses conscious understanding, settling deep within our subconscious landscape. We inherit not just our parents' eyes or their hair color, but sometimes their unexpressed grief, their unresolved conflicts, their deepest longings. These psychic legacies, these imprints of the past, can feel like an inexplicable burden, a predetermined path we are fated to walk. But understanding this ghost in the gene is the first step in separating our own authentic path from the echoes of another's journey. Transgenerational trauma is the profound wound that time itself cannot seem to heal. It's the legacy of suffering passed down not one, but multiple generations. An unaddressed pain that continues to ripple through the family lineage, manifesting in subtle yet devastating ways. This is the wound that never truly closes, its spectral presence felt even when the original source is long gone. Imagine a deep chasm carved into the family psyche, a scar left by immense loss, violence, or profound injustice. Each subsequent generation must navigate its treacherous edges, unknowingly carrying the weight of that original pain. It's in the heightened anxiety, the chronic depression, the difficulty forming secure attachments, the inexplicable outbursts of rage that seem to erupt from nowhere. This inherited wound is a silent predator, lurking in the subconscious, shaping our reactions and limiting our potential. It's the phantom pain of history, a constant reminder of what was lost or what was endured, a burden that can feel impossibly heavy. To begin healing, we must first confront the enduring sting of this wound that never truly heals. But how do we even begin to recognize its presence within our own lives? The card of the fool, wild-eyed and stepping off a numeric precipice, is more than a symbol of new beginnings. It's a potent representation of innocence, yes, but more importantly, it's an emblem of our unexamined assumptions. It's the posture we take when we believe we are walking a path of our own making, unaware of the ancient footprints already laid out before us. Recognizing the pattern is the first act of true agency. It's seeing the repetitive cycles in our relationships, the recurring challenges in our careers, the familiar ways we fall into old traps, and acknowledging that something larger might be at play. This isn't about blame. It's about observation, about the quiet discernment that recognizes a familiar tune playing in the background of our own narrative. The fool's oblivious leap is a mirror to our own unacknowledged inheritance. We might think we are choosing freely, but often we are simply following a script written by generations past. The descent is not always dramatic. It can be a slow, subtle replaying of familiar scenes. But when we begin to see the script, the possibility of rewriting it emerges. And that begins with understanding the hidden narratives that govern us. Within the heart of every family lies a complex web of unspoken rules, a silent constitution that dictates permissible thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. These are the family secrets, the unacknowledged truths that shape the atmosphere and enforce a conformity that can stifle individual souls. They are the invisible fences that keep everyone within a defined, often limiting, territory. These secrets are not always grand betrayals. They can be the denial of certain emotions, the suppression of ambition that deviates from the norm, the refusal to speak about difficult histories, the pressure to maintain a facade of normalcy to uphold a particular image, creates a powerful gravitational pull, keeping the truth buried and the authentic self encased. The unacknowledged laws of a family create a unique form of psychic entrapment. They dictate who we can be, what we can aspire to, and how we should feel, all without a single word being uttered. It is in the careful avoidance of certain topics, the nervous laughter that deflects deeper inquiry, that the true power of these unspoken rules is revealed, creating a closed system that can feel impossible to escape without understanding its fundamental architecture. We are, in a sense, living portraits of our ancestors, vessels carrying their essence. their battles, their triumphs, and their deep-seated wounds. The mirror of the blood reflects not just our physical resemblances, but the echoes of their souls, their unresolved dramas playing out in subtle nuances of our character and our destiny. This is the ancestral self within us, a complex tapestry woven from countless lives. Look into the eyes of those who came before, and you see hints of your own struggles, your own resilience. The same fire that burned in their hearts, the same fears that haunted their sleep, can be found mirrored within your own psyche. This isn't a condemnation, but an acknowledgement of a profound connection. A recognition that their journey is, in part, still our journey. These ancestral selves are not ghosts to be feared, but potent influences to be understood. They are the silent partners in our life's unfolding, their wisdom and their warnings embedded in our very inheritance. To truly know ourselves, we must gaze into this mirror of the blood and begin to discern which reflections are truly ours, and which are inherited echoes. But what happens when those inherited reflections carry a profound darkness that demands transformation? The alchemist's crucible is a place of intense heat and pressure, where base metals are transmuted into gold. In our psychic landscape, this crucible represents the fierce, often uncomfortable, process of confronting and transforming the shadow elements we inherit. It is here, in this fiery space, that the alchemical work of integrating the disowned parts of ourselves truly begins. This transformation is not a passive acceptance. It is an active engagement with the difficult truths, the ancestral wounds, and the unacknowledged patterns that bind us. It requires courage to hold the tension, to witness the pain without succumbing to despair, and to actively engage in the process of reauthoring our internal narrative. The heat of the crucible can feel overwhelming, burning away old defenses and illusions. It is within this alchemical process, this intense work of inner refinement, that the potential for true liberation lies. The elements that once seemed poisonous, the inherited shadows that threaten to consume us, can, under the right conditions, be transmuted into sources of strength and wisdom. But this transformation is often fueled by our own experiences of suffering, leading us to the wounded healer within. The archetype of the wounded healer speaks to a profound paradox, that our deepest scars can become the source of our greatest compassion and wisdom. It suggests that within the inherited wounds we carry, both personal and ancestral, lies the potential for profound healing, not just for ourselves, but for others as well. This is the paradox of the wounded healer within. We see this in those who have navigated immense personal pain and emerged with a unique capacity to understand and alleviate the suffering of others. Their own journey through the darkness grants them a rare empathy, an intuitive grasp of the human condition that cannot be taught, only lived. The very wounds that threaten to break them become the conduits of their strength and their offering to the world. This inherited capacity for healing, forged in the fires of suffering, is a powerful force. It suggests that the unresolved pain within our lineage, when consciously embraced and transformed, can become a wellspring of profound insight and genuine care. But how do we access this potent healing force that is so intimately tied to our own perceived brokenness? And how does the universe guide us toward this realization? The gate of synchronicity is not an arbitrary coincidence, but a meaningful alignment of inner and outer events, a subtle language spoken by the unconscious mind. It's the moment when the inner landscape of our psyche spontaneously and meaningfully corresponds with the outer world, guiding us toward a deeper truth. These moments are whispers from the unconscious, nudging us in a specific direction. When we are open to it, these synchronicities act as breadcrumbs leading us through the labyrinth of our inherited patterns. The appearance of a recurring symbol, an unexpected encounter, a phrase overheard at just the right moment, these are not random occurrences. They are potent messages from the deeper self, indicating that we are on the right path or highlighting an area that requires our attention. The gate of synchronicity is an invitation to trust the inner compass, to recognize the subtle currents that guide our lives. It's proof that we are not merely buffeted by fate, but are participants in a larger, meaningful unfolding. However, navigating these guided moments requires a map, a way to understand the intricate paths we must traverse, leading us into the labyrinth of destiny. The labyrinth of destiny is not a place of predetermined fate, but a complex, winding path that we ourselves help to create through our choices, particularly those influenced by our inherited patterns. It's a metaphor for the intricate journey of life, where the choices we make, guided by both conscious intention and unconscious influences, lead us through a series of interconnected experiences. Within this labyrinth, the echoes of ancestral narratives can act as our internal guides or our unwitting saboteurs. The inherited fears might lead us down dead ends, while the forged resilience from past generations can illuminate the way forward. Recognizing these guiding forces within is crucial to navigating the twists and turns with greater clarity and intentionality. To walk the labyrinth of destiny is to acknowledge that our journey is shaped by both our free will and the invisible threads of inheritance. It requires a delicate balance of surrender and agency, of trusting the unfolding path while also actively choosing our direction. But what is the ultimate destination, the point from which true freedom arises? At the heart of our journey, waiting to be discovered, lies the concept of the 0 point. This is not an emptiness to be feared, but a primordial space of pure potentiality, the origin from which all creation springs. It is the point before definition, before form, before the imprints of history and inheritance have taken hold. It is the ultimate ground of being, the absolute stillness. Reclaiming agency means returning to this 0 point, shedding the layers of inherited identity and societal conditioning that have obscured our true essence. It's the daunting, yet liberating act of standing in the space of nothingness, recognizing that from this void, we can consciously choose what to create and who to become, free from the limitations of the past. This point of origin, this fundamental 0, is where true freedom resides. It's the realization that beneath all the accumulated baggage, there is an unblemished self, capable of infinite possibility. But before we can fully embrace this potential, we must acknowledge the powerful forces that have shaped our perceived reality. The voice of the demiurge speaks not with benevolent intent, but as a craftsman who imposes order upon chaos, often through illusion and limitation. It represents the constructed realities, the imposed belief systems and societal dictates that shape our understanding of what is real and what is possible, creating a world that may not align with our deeper, authentic nature. These are the imposed realities. This demiurgic voice can manifest as the rigid doctrines of religion, the unexamined tenets of science, or the pervasive narratives of mainstream culture. It offers a comforting illusion of control and predictability, but at the cost of our innate freedom and our connection to the more profound, intuitive aspects of existence. It's the craftsman who believes they know best, shaping their creation without true regard for its inherent spirit. The perceived reality crafted by the demiurge can feel inescapably solid. A cage built not with bars, but with unquestioned assumptions. It tells us what we should be, what we should want, and what we should fear. often obscuring the vastness of our actual potential. But the illusion of control that the demiurge offers can be surprisingly fragile, easily undone by the primal forces that lie beneath the surface. The serpent's coil, an ancient symbol of duality and cyclical nature, represents the illusion of control we so desperately cling to. It suggests that our attempts to master and contain life's inevitable flux are, in themselves, a source of our entrapment. The more we try to hold on, to dictate outcomes, the more we become entangled in the very forces we seek to dominate. We see this in our relentless pursuit of certainty, our need to plan every detail, to predict every outcome. This constant effort to maintain an unassailable grip on our circumstances blinds us to the inherent unpredictability and transformative power of life. The serpent swallows its own tail, a never-ending cycle of striving and resistance. This illusion of control is a seductive trap, promising safety and order while ensnaring us in anxiety and frustration. It is the belief that we can master the unpredictable flow of existence through sheer force of will. But the true path to freedom lies not in tightening our grip, but in learning to navigate the currents, understanding that the serpent's coil is precisely what binds us. The veil of Saturn signifies temporal entrapment, the deep-seated feeling of being bound by time, by the past, and by the rigid structures that govern our lives. It speaks to the limitations imposed by karma, by history, and by the relentless march of chronological progression, creating a sense of being stuck in an unchangeable narrative, a temporal prison. This veil manifests as the regret over past actions, the anxiety about the future, and the profound sense that opportunities are slipping away. It is the weight of accumulated time, the awareness of our own mortality, and the perceived inflexibility of past choices that can create a powerful sense of stagnation. Saturn, the planet of time and discipline, can also represent this binding constraint. When we are caught behind this veil, the present moment can feel insignificant, overshadowed by what has been and what is yet to come, but cannot be controlled. The sense of being trapped in time, of lacking freedom from the inevitable flow of ages, is a significant spiritual and psychological burden. But there is a way to pierce this veil, to find a state of true wholeness beyond temporal confines. The broken circle represents a fundamental disconnection, a fragmentation of the self and our relationship with the world. It is the archetypal image of what was once whole, now fractured, signifying the loss of unity and the pervasive sense of incompleteness that many experience. This brokenness speaks to our inherent need for connection and integration. This sense of being incomplete can manifest as a persistent longing, a feeling that something vital is missing from our lives, even amidst apparent success. It reflects the disconnection from our authentic selves, from each other, and from the deeper essence of existence. The circle, symbolizing wholeness and unity, stands tragically incomplete. To re-establish wholeness is to embark on the profound journey of integration, to mend the fractures within ourselves and to reconnect with the lost aspects of our being. It is to recognize that true fulfillment lies not in external acquisition, but in the inner, alchemical process of piecing ourselves back together. This journey toward re-establishing wholeness requires understanding the nature of our deepest inherited patterns and the power they hold over us. A journey that continues into the next chapter. Now make sure to subscribe for more videos and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. We'll see you in the next one.